Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. It is Wednesday, May 7th. We are live at the New York Stock Market morning session. Glad you can join us. Everybody's doing well today. All right, quick look at the calendar for today, and we have federal funds rate, FOMC statement, and press conference coming up this afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern and 2:30. So should be interesting around that time. Unfortunately, we won't be there here at that time. Unfortunately, we won't be there. Be interesting to see. In any case, later. All right. Let me take a look at the U.S. dollar. I've got flat U.S. dollar right now, so not much going on. Just very flat, and euro is also flat. So movement downwards for the U.S. dollar overall, but we're in a flat state right now. So I guess they're kind of waiting for that news this afternoon, perhaps. All right, NASDAQ is in a downward mode. I'm on the hourly, looking at the chart, and from the hourly standpoint, we had this 1-2, another move down. So remember yesterday I was saying that more than likely we're going to be heading back up to retrace the move here, and that's what we've done. So calling it okay so far, and now again we're moving back down. So looking like maybe we're going to challenge these lows again. So we could have another move back down. That would put us into a interesting channel here. Not a very good line there, that one. Something that's not good either, that one. So let me try it again. Something like this. So it's possible that we're heading back down to challenge these lows. If not, if we're not coming straight down, and so there's alternatives, of course. I think that's one of the biggest challenges in trying to explain what I'm seeing in the charts and how to interpret the charts and so forth, is to be flexible, to be able to move and to be able to change your mind and kind of flow with the market, because it's not a rigid thing. It's a very malleable, moving, writhing, rhythmic, all those kind of words. It's dynamic. It's just not, there's no rigidity. You have to be able to change your analysis and be able to adapt quickly. It was interesting. Yesterday I was watching some poker online. It was the in Vegas, and it was down to the last two guys. There were like 5,000 people that signed up for this tournament in Vegas. $10,000 entry. So it's like you're trading. You put $10,000 down on the line, and you have to try to make it through this group and get to the last two standing. And it's quite interesting that they spoke with both of the guys before they went to the final table, and asked, their opinion of how they got there and so forth. And one of them said, it's because I feel that you have to be not rigid. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to move and be fluid when you're playing. And that's exactly what it is with trading. You have to be that way. And I think that's one of the hardest things to teach, because I'll see the market for a moment going up, and then, oh, wait a minute, you have to change your mind. It's not really going up. It's just a fake, and so forth and so on. So you have to be really. I think yesterday was a good example, Peter, with Tesla.
Yep.
You were asking how long is it going to take? When is it going to start going down and so forth? And the expectation is that it's going to go down, but they can take a long time before they make it go down. So.
Oh yeah. You play poker?
I play it just for fun. I don't play it, I don't gamble. It's enough to trade. But I do like playing poker just for fun because it's very mind intensive. Like chess. I like playing chess as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just mind intense. Another game, I don't know if you heard of the game called Pente.
What is it called?
Pente. Heard of that game, George? Pente? Oh, George is muted right now. Yeah, but Pente is quite an interesting game.
No, never heard of it.
Yeah, it's very old. It's like what can I explain? It's like tic-tac-toe or something like that, but it's instead of three characters, you have 5. So you have to get 5 in a row in different ways and different ways on the board. It's quite mentally intense.
My favorite is Pitbull.
It's what? Sorry?
Pitbull. It's all about futures.
Trading
futures.
Pickle.
Pitbull.
Pickle?
Pitbull.
Oh, Pitbull.
Yeah,
What is that's a game?
it's a game.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that, Pitbull. Okay, I have to look that up.
It's a lot of fun if you have 4 people.
It's a card game of sorts?
Yeah, it's a card game.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the markets here this morning, and I can see even from the 15-minute. So first of all, I should welcome all the YouTubers, and we've got 7 minutes before the market opens, so that's why I'm not being too deep into this. But for those on YouTube watching us for the first time, we are the Simple 1, 2, 3 traders. What we're looking for is a 1, 2, 3 top or bottom, and it's best seen at intervals where there are highs and lows. That's when they appear. However, not every high and every low gives you a good 1, 2, 3. So we're looking for 1, 2, 3 tops or bottoms. And I'm on the 15-minute time frame, and there is a 1, 2, 3 here on the 15-minute time frame. There's a 1, 2, 3 here. There's a 1, 2, 3 here. There's a 1, 2, 3 here, and so on. There are 1, 2, 3s everywhere. And again, there's a 1, 2, 3 there. There's a 1, 2, 3 here. There was a 1, 2, 3 there. There was a 1, 2, 3 there, and then they went through. So our 1, 2, 3 is just a high. 1, 2, 3 bottom is a low, a high, and a low. But the low, the number 3 point, cannot break number 1 point. That's the rule, and that's it. We try to enter in around 50% between points 1 and 2, and then we go to a set target, usually Fibonacci 1.618 expansion of the move from number 3 point. And that's basically our model. It's very simple. but it's not an easy thing to trade because you have to find the right 1, 2, 3s. So on the 5-minute time frame, we can now see that 1, 2, 3, the first 1, 2, 3 I've marked out quite clearly. There it is. That's what we're looking for. We want to enter in this area. And I say we get a 50% retrace. It's an area. Ideally, we want to be retracing 50 to 62%. However, it doesn't always occur, but it does occur the most often. So probability-wise, and because this is a probability game, we're looking for a retracement in between 50 and 62%. Once we see that, then we look for that move to the downside. We want to enter and move. So there are many ways of entering the 1, 2, 3, and I prefer the fractal entry, which is fractal referring to 3 candles, in this case a high, 2 lower highs, or you can enter on a low and 2 higher lows. So that's kind of the objective, to catch that move. So on this one here, this 1, 2, 3 top, if I were to put, if I've got 4 minutes left before the market opens, if I were to put the fib retracement tool from this high to this low, I'd be looking for a retracement of approximately 50 to 62%. So in this case, we retraced 38% approximately. So we didn't get into our 50 to 62% range. And so you have to be able to adapt. And that's what I was referring to in the beginning, that you have to be able to be malleable, to be able to flow and change and move with the market. You can't just be rigid. Lennox said that it was 50 to 62% and only went 38%, so I didn't get in. You can't, it doesn't work that way. So it's all probabilities, and you have to be able to be flexible. All right, so that's with the retracement. So now if I take that tool off and put the expansion on from this high to this low and look for target, my target would be 1.618. Now, it doesn't mean that I have to go exactly to 1.618. It's an area. And so anywhere in this area between 1.272 and 2.0 is a reasonable area for target. However, again, you have to be flexible. I like the 1.618, but I don't, if I'm in this move, if I jump in here and I catch this move down and I'm at 1.414 and I see that price is starting to move back up, I can take profits off. I don't have to wait and go to 1.618. So those are the kind of ways you have to be flexible. So if that makes sense, then you're getting a great lesson on what the market's all about, because this is occurring all the time, this pattern, and it's just a matter of being able to catch it. Even at this point here on this leg, it's the same thing that I'm just showing you right here. It's we have a 1, 2, 3 here, and we're dropping down to this low.
The perfect example of that on the 1 minute Tesla at the close last night. 1, 2, 3 top.
Yeah, excellent.
Exactly as you described it.
All right, so we've got a couple minutes left before the markets opens here. All right, so at this current moment in time, I'm on the 5, and we're in this. So we look for a structure, and our structure is a 1, 2, 3 top, drop, another move up, and then another drop. So this is what we've had here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and drop. So at this point, what would I be looking for? Either a new 1, 2, 3 to come back up, or a continuation down because we're not finished. So let me drop down to the 5 minute. I'm on the 5 minute. Let me drop to the 1 minute. And we look at this move, and here we are. So there's our 1, 2, 3 top, and then we drop, and now we're chopping. So my expectation now, with less than about 10 seconds to go before the market opens, is that we would likely come back up here, sweep these guys out, and then continue down to take out this low down here. So let's see what happens here in 1 second here. And they've swept the guys down here first. Okay, so looking for them to take the highs.
We're open.
And they're going straight down. So my expectation that they would go up and take out the highs did not play out. And that's where flexibility comes in. My expectation was that they would take these guys triple high, equal highs, and that they would take them out first before they dropped it. But they said, no, we're just going straight down. And that's okay. They can do that.
Good morning, good afternoon. So there we are.
Good morning, good afternoon there, Martin. How are you today?
I'm quite fine. Have you been on for a while? Because my Teams wouldn't connect.
Yes, we've been on since we come on around 10 minutes after the hour.
Okay. Well,
no problem. All right. So had price gone above these equal highs here at first, that might have presented me with an opportunity to take the trade down and to take out this low. But since they went straight down, it didn't give me that opportunity at that point. Yes, you could have jumped in at this point here. However, a little risky because you don't know for sure if they're going to go back up and take the highs out first. So in basically what they've done is swept everybody out below, swept liquidity, and now they've gone up and taken the highs. So that would be expected. So that would be the expectation on that move. So quite interesting the way they did it here. All right, so we have to be patient here and get an entry. I'm going to mark off my first gap here. Very tiny one. I also have an inverted gap right there. So we got double. Yeah, so if this gap holds price up, we might just wick here and just continue. So at this point now, if I go back up to the higher time frame, I can see what they're doing now. So they've completed the structure that I'm looking for. And you see that this entire structure is also in this leg. It's also in this leg. And it's also in this leg. So it's just a fractal of, and every time you go down to lower time frames, it's the same structure. Even if I went up to the weekly time frame, the structure is the same. The structure is in this leg here. The structure is in this leg here. Structure is in this whole thing, and so on. So it's just a matter of being able to see it. For instance, from this low here, the structure is here. And then it's in the, like I say, in this leg, it's much more subtle in here. And it's not easily seen on the weekly time frame. So you have to drop down the time frames in order to see the structure overall. It's in this current leg right now on the daily. And it's something like this. And if I keep going down the time frames, 4 hour, it's in every leg that you can see. And so it's just a matter of being able to discern it. So that's how I interpret the charts, and I'm able to enter and exit trades for profits. And that's last night, for instance, I was playing the NAS and Bitcoin. That NASDAQ primarily did do some Bitcoin, but I had one small loss, but everything else were wins. And I think I strung about 10 wins together before I even had this loss prior to. So it was just rocking along there last night. And yeah, it's all doable. It's just a matter of being vigilant. And yeah, I have a much more quiet time when I'm trading, but by myself. When I'm trading here with you guys, it's a little different, because I'm jumping around the different instruments and so forth. But still able to catch some trades, and I'm also trading on my iPad. So I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. So let's see how Tesla opened there this morning, Peter. So very, very volatile stuff, eh? So
yeah, I wish I'd gone short on that swing high.
Yeah, so they opened, interestingly, here. This was the 9:30 candle. So they opened high, went up first, and then dropped it down. So they did what I expected the indices to do, but the indices did not go up first. They went down first. So that's quite interesting that it occurred on. Yeah. So let's see how S&P looks. S&P is very volatile as well. So a sweep of the lows again. Did the NASDAQ come down and sweep the lows? No. So we have some divergence here. So divergence is one of the big things in the market you have to be watchful of. And so when we get divergence, it tells quite a story. So you can see that this gap is not holding, obviously, and we've dropped down. So looking like we want to take the low, but because S&P did not take the low, or S&P took the low, it might be done on the NAS, and we could be heading back to the upside without taking that low. Right now, it's very so volatile. It's a tough one to get your bearings on here for a trade. So it looks, I would expect them to come and take the low still, even though they haven't done it as yet. That will be my expectation. But again, because the S&P has taken it already, they might not. So that sometimes violates our structure. So with our structure, we're expecting, when we're here, we're expecting this low to be taken. And sometimes they don't do it. Sometimes they just continue up, which is very rare occurrence. So the expectation is that we would go through, but sometimes we don't get it. So S&P has done it as expected here. So our structure has played out. If I could go lower on the time frames down into the seconds chart, you would see the structure. However, you see the NAS has not completed the structure. So I'm looking for the structure completion one more time down to take out this low. So sometimes you sit there waiting for that and it doesn't occur, and that's because the S&P has already broken it and is making the 1, 2, 3 to go back up, while the NASDAQ is much stronger and is just leaving without taking that low out. So let's see if that occurs today here. But very volatile right now, so it's very difficult to make a trade at this point. The first 15 minutes of the market can be quite dangerous. So. And with Tesla, yeah, it's...
Looks like we might be setting up for a short.
See how it looks on the 5. So remember from yesterday, I was saying that my expectation is that they could come back up into this gap. And look at how long it took them for them to do that. They finally did it this morning. So yesterday, the expectation was that we would come up in there and they didn't do it. They just chopped around and finally come up into it today. So that's just what I was referring to. You asked me, when was this going to drop? And I was saying, it looks imminent that they would do it. And that's the expectation, that they're going to come and take out this low. But they're taking a long time.
Yeah, I see that.
This is just one of those times. So there's our structure. We got a 1-2 here. We drop. So now they're chopping up and down in here. And the expectation is still that they're going to come and take out this low. So you're correct in saying that you think it's going to fall, but how long will it take for them to get down here now is going to be the question, right?
I see it.
So it's a similar pattern. That pattern that I just drew is similar to the pattern here, where we have a 1-2 and we drop. So at this point, we expect them to take this low out. However, you can see again, they took a long time before they did that. So they went all the way back up and then finally came down to take that low out. So if your expectation is that it's going to go through right away, then you're going to get taken out because you're looking to go short, and then you have your stops above the highs or whatever in that area, and they take you out because your expectation is that it's going to fall, because our structure, is telling us, yes, we should take that low out, but it doesn't mean that they're going to do it right away. So that's one of the things. Again, patience is the number one criteria in this game, and you have to have patience, otherwise it doesn't work. All right, so you can see that the NAS did not take that low, and again the S&P did. So that gives us quite the divergence, and S&P now created a 1-2-3 bottom, albeit very choppy, and is taking out the highs. And the NASDAQ gave us a 1-2-3 bottom without breaking the low, and now is pushing up, taking out the highs. So it looks likely that we're going to pull back and then continue to the upside. So there's an opportunity to get in for a buy, perhaps into this same gap that I marked off originally. So let's see if that occurs. That might be an opportunity for an entry. So I've got some 4-hour candles here, and these candles really help. This is where my current 4-hour candle opened, and then we went down, and that's the wick. That's the wick here. So the wick is all in this area here, and now we're pushing back to the upside. So I'll be looking for them to come back down here first, give me an opportunity for an entry, and then to catch the rest of the move. The other one I haven't looked at is Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's got quite the move. So there's Bitcoin, beautiful 1-2-3 bottom. So I wasn't paying attention to Bitcoin, so I didn't. So that's a nice 1-2. There's a beautiful 1-2-3. That's what we're looking for. That's our model. And there we go. So we'd have been out of this trade already had we jumped in on this move. So let's see if we're at 1.618. We're right there. So done. That would have been a trade that you'd be out of, and you could get out at any one of these targets. That's just beautiful, beautiful move, entry, and again, entry in in a retrace of 50 to 62%, and that's as simple as it is, and you just have to be able to see it and catch it, and that's it. Right, so back to the NAS again. Okay, so we did not get a pullback into the gap, so didn't give me an opportunity to get in. So they're just going straight up. So where are they going is the question. So we would more than likely be looking for them to take out this high. However, we could get a pullback here still before we go. So how's Tesla? Tesla's still going up. So Tesla swept. Come all the way back down. Will they take this high out again? That's possible. That's possible. Hard to see the structure here, even on the 1 minute time frame. It's very, very quick. So we're kind of getting a structure like that. So looking like they want to take out that high. And you can see the 4-hour candles on Tesla is a little different. We opened here, and we opened here, went up first. So we created the wick up high first, and then we came down quite a lot. And now we're pushing back to the upside. So we're finally getting a body on this candle in this area. It's really neat to be able to see your 4-hour. I can make this a 4-hour candle, daily candle, hourly candle, whatever I want. And I like to look at the 4-hour. So this gray area here, right here, this gray box, that's my daily candle. So it's showing me where the daily candle opens and the high for the day, the low for the day. So we're pushing to the upside. So within the daily candle, we have that structure that I'm looking for. If we're going up, we have this structure. If we're going down, we have this structure. So there's the pullback now. So again, I'm jumping around too much, so I'm missing opportunities here. But so that would have been the retrace opportunity to take a possible continuation to the upside here, just like that. So again, you have to be quick, you have to be nimble, you have to be on the ball to catch these moves. This is a typical ICT entry where he's using just the entry of the wick. So at this point, he would say, okay, I've entered on this wick because it came back and touched into this gap, and he would enter at that point. And I can enter on a fractal at this point here. However, the condition for my fractal here gives me a very high risk. So my stop would have to be way down here. So if it's too high a risk, I ignore the trade, because if in the event I'm wrong and they come down and take me out, it's a huge loss. I don't want to have a big loss like that. I'd rather have a smaller loss. So yesterday I got caught by not putting a stop on in a NASDAQ trade. And I was going short. I think I was going short or long. I can't remember which one now. And it was going against me. I think, yeah, I went short and it went long. It started going up. And so I was stuck. I was down in drawdown $25,000 at one point. My account I've got a huge account, so I can withstand that drawdown, but it's not something that I shouldn't really be doing that at all. I should put the stops on it every time. And so I'll try to make sure that I put the stops on when I'm trading here, because it's not a good thing for me to be in huge drawdown like that. And I did show that, yes, I can get back out of it. I did get back out of it. I actually made $25,000 on the trade in the end. However, it's not a good way to be, not a good way to play, because it can be hazardous to your bank account and so forth to not put a stop on. So they did pull back again. And so this didn't, they just swept that high real quick and then back down. So looking like they want to come back down again. Interesting here. So lots of volatility. S&P. Again, they sweep the bottom. So you really had to be brave to be in this kind of stuff. Let's see where we are.
Tesla's jumping up and down like kangaroos on speed.
Yeah, Yeah, this is what's going on here. So here's
Boy.
my structure. Very, very bizarre structure going on here. I get this move, we get this up, and then they chop it up in here. And so the expectation is that we would move to the upside here to take out these highs. However, we're kind of in a mess at this point. I mean, if you look at what happened to Bitcoin just now, they came back down. If I go back to the 1 minute, they came back down in a hurry here. So if you did not take your profits up here, you know, you're just in deep troubles. You know, you just lost a lot of money. So you take your profits and get out, because you never know what they're going to do in our structure. So when we get this structure like this and we get in, we always get out, because you just don't know what they're going to do in here. They can do anything they want. And this is one of the things they can do. They can drop it down real quick. So Tesla looks pretty good for a buy at this point. Very choppy. I'm going to take a look at it from an hourly. So on the hourly point of view, here's my structure playing out again. I'm in this structure, so I would expect a continuation up to take out this high. So let's see if we can catch that. And here's my structure again at this level on the 15, and they've moved up. And again, they've taken out these highs. So I would look for them to come back up and take out this high. So that would be the plan of attack. Can I get in? I probably missed the opportunity. So nice fractal there. Again, this is a tough one, because your risk is very high. It's not terribly high here, but it's not too bad.
Am I correct in assuming that on Tesla I could have just gone short and long based on fractals?
Yes, you could, and you have to be quite nimble. You know, fractal high, fractal low, but you know, here is this is huge risk here, where this one is not so bad. This is a much more palatable risk. You know, you have to gauge the risk. You know, this one is way too large. You know, this one you could do the same. There's your risk.
If I went short on that first fractal at the top, it would have worked out. If I went long on that fractal bottom, it would have worked out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, they would have worked. However, again, you know, are you willing to take the risk? Because your risk is high, right?
Oh, okay.
So the best one was this one, because your risk wasn't that terribly high. I'm talking about putting your stop above the high, right? Which is what most people do. So if your entry is here, then you have to gauge where your risk will be. And so another way of entering, say on this one here at the bottom, let me put these back on. The one at the bottom here, you can use the wick as a target for a stop. So you can use a halfway point of the wick, and you could put your stop just below halfway. So that makes it a more palatable risk instead of using the full wick, because the wick itself is considered a gap in ICT terms. So you can use the half of the wick.
Okay, I see it. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got a 1, 2, 3 top on the 5 minute Tesla.
You got one now on the 1 minute forming right now. So
where do you see that on the 1 minute?
I'm on the 1 minute right now, and you got the low here, and this 1, 2, 3 right here.
Oh, you mean going up?
Yes, to go up at this point.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking to go short.
We've got a 1-2 here. They dropped it, so it is possible they could take out this low, but we do have a 1-2-3 at this point. So you have to be careful about that because it's possible that they could go through to take out the low one more time. So my expectation, remember our expectation is that Tesla is going to come down. So we have to, we're on this look of Tesla here. We're inside this channel. The expectations that we're going to come down to take out this low over here. So if you keep that in mind that from the higher time frame, then you have to be careful about wanting to go long. Yes, you can still go long, but you take a risk because you're going counter to the overall prevailing trend, which is likely to the downside. But so keep that in mind. So there's NAS. So I'm going to go back to the hourly on the NAS. I'm looking for the NAS to go up. So if the NAS is going to go up, then it's highly unlikely that Tesla is going to go down. So it's a bit odd here.
Looks like we have
they can buck the trend. They can go opposite each other, of course, but so this entry here on Bitcoin. So this is very tough right now because it is possible for them to come back down again one more time, take out this low on Bitcoin. I haven't made one trade yet because I just haven't seen anything. This would have been the best play so far this morning, catching this low here. You had to be right on the ball there. This was beautiful. This was the best looking move so far. So it's possible they can come back down one more time here to take this low because my structure is not complete. Back up there again on S&P. And you see we're getting divergence again now. So we're getting divergence on the S&P and the NAS. So they're really playing games here this morning. No more divergence. They've cut that out. So it looks very choppy right here, right now. George is saying, George is not able to speak with us, but he's saying that NAS could be moving in a downward mode on wave 5. Yeah, it's a tough one. It really is, this movement. I've got a 1-2 here. We dropped, came across. So it looks like our structure is complete and we should be heading back up at this point. And over here from our low, we had our structure is like this. We went up. So this puts us into a obvious fourth wave. However, we've come back into this area so deeply, it's a different type of a structure that we're in. We're not in a regular type of structure. And so I'm still looking for them to go back up, but it might be a climb. Might be a tough climb out, but they're trying. Market this gap here. We'll look for an entry if we get a retrace back into this gap. Since we have a break of structure at this point, it could come back one more time. And we have also an inverted gap here. So there's a double. I'm making a mess of my chart right now, but just to show you guys what I'm seeing. So we've got an inverted gap and a regular gap. Now, do they have to come back into this gap? No, but it would be an expectation that we would come back. See Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, looking for Bitcoin to come back down, and it's slowly coming back down. So we're getting a 1-2 at this point. We could come down to take this low. If we did that, then that would be an opportunity to go back up with Bitcoin. Could even be a sell at this point if you felt it was enough points there to make it worthwhile. But I think the better play would be to go back to the upside. Okay, so we did come back. So yeah, I'm jumping around too much here, so I'm not able to. Let's see if I can stick with one thing here for a little bit. We just missed that now again. So there's another entry on the wick. You'll take a look at my seconds chart. That might help me here. Okay, looking for them to come down one more time, possibly to take this low. Or not. They might not. Okay, so if they come back into this area here, taking up this low, then I could enter to go long, and stop would be below here. See if we get that move. Okay, we're at the 10. We're past 10 o'clock now, so we're in algo time. So we're looking for a nice, strong movement here. So if we can get into a comfortable seat, and when we talk about a comfortable seat, we're talking about our 1, 2, 3, and getting in at our number 3 point area and catching a ride. So these moves here since the open have been quite volatile, quite strong, but just choppy. So we'd like to see a more orderly kind of move, and that's what the algo, again using ICT terminology, at 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11, we get an algorithmic move in the markets. So if we can catch that algorithmic move by utilizing our 1, 2, 3 model, then you might be able to get a nice ride. So we have to get in a good seat on the train, as it were. So I'm looking for them to come and take out this low. Doesn't have to happen, of course, but that will be the expectation here at this point. And they're not doing it. You see, Martin, that we're in a fourth wave, on the seconds? Completely. We're looking for them to drop it down. And here we go. So looking for them to take that low. There we go. Okay, so now I could take the risk. You might take that low one more, and then take that low one more time, possibly. Not. Did I miss my opportunity? Looking for them to come down one more time. I might have missed my opportunity by not taking the trade at that moment in time when it was there. To my own chagrin.
You have to be flexible.
Yeah, I hesitated because I thought that we would come back one more drop, one more little drop, but that's all they're doing. That's all they're going to give us. So I missed it. Wow. So that's got to be nimble. You really do. So that might have been the opportunity there, that a really good one. So now I would have to wait again for them to break this high, and another possible retrace here to go, which they might not even do now. So that was my golden ticket. That was my great seat on the train, as it were, that I just nickel and dime myself out of by hesitating for a split second. So this occurs. All right, so I'll look for another retrace. Since we've taken out the high, look for another retrace again and see if I get another chance here. Now I'm going to be getting in a little higher than I wanted to, but that's okay. Just a little. It doesn't look like they want to come down any further. Trying to be too precise here. I don't think there's anything worse in this game than when you call it and you're not in it. So
I agree. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. So you wait patiently for them to come back down, take out this low, give it the opportunity to get in, and then you don't take it. So Now we've swept this high, looking for them to drop it back down a little bit, but they're just coming down just a tad. I would have liked to see them come down a little bit more, but they're not, because they're saying, hey, I already gave you a chance here. You didn't want it. What more do you want, right? So, and I don't like buying it way up here, because the moment you jump in up here is the moment they decide to come down, You can see what Bitcoin did just at that moment as well. So Bitcoin, I was expecting a bigger pullback here to possibly come down here, but they said no, we're not doing that at all. We're just going to leave. So we get a 1, 2, 3. So this structure was very quick, and they said that's it, we're done. And they give us a 1, 2, entries here, and then off they went. So watching them on the other chart and couldn't pull the trigger on that one either. So the gap here, can they come back one more time or not? Doesn't look good for me here. So I jumped in on Bitcoin because Bitcoin, they're really rocking it up. So I'm going to take advantage of Bitcoin. So they're hesitating there for whatever reason. So I'm going to take a partial at that point because they're hesitating. So catch a little bit of something there. So that was good. And now where my stop would be just below this gap. I could be in jeopardy here. They could easily come back down and take me out. But I'm not going to give them too much, especially after making profits. So let's see if we can continue going up. On Bitcoin, we've got a little gap happening here. So looking for them to go to the highs. Can we make it up there? Possibly. Oh, so I did get a little bit of a pullback on the NAS as well. Well, maybe another little opportunity there. It's a little tepid here. Looking for them to come down a little bit further and maybe touch this gap. The harsh part about this is that there's no really good place to put your stop. Even if you get in, your risk is quite high here. So that makes it tougher. This would have been a better entry here because my risk wasn't that dramatic here. And remember, I said on Bitcoin that I could be in trouble here with my stop because I don't want to put it too far away and see how tight I have to put it so they can take me out, no problem here. So I'll get a win and a loss, but I'm up. Yeah. So that's one of the, where do you put your stop? They know you haven't got any place to put your stop. So you can't put it too far away because then they can still spike it down with a wick and get you. So it's a tough one placing your stop here. And they know it. They know it. I mean, it's they see all these lows. They know people pile their stops under here. Everybody who's going long got their stops piled under here. So it's just a matter of wicking it down, take everybody out, and then take off and continue. So it's not even like it's magic or anything. It's just the way it is. We're getting a bigger pullback. So what are they doing? Still looking that we want to go back to the upside. So everything's still pointing to a move up. However, we're getting a pullback here. So my structure is now 2, 3. So opportunity again to continue to take out the highs on Bitcoin. We'll wait for a fractal here for an entry. Again, this is very tough to enter here because where do you put your stop? Your stop should technically be way down here, but that's very huge risk. So you always have to weigh that. If you put your stop too tight, then the risk is that you're going to get stopped out because you're too tight. So it makes for a very tough play. So hence one of the reasons I don't put a stop on initially a lot of the times, but you take a risk by doing that as well, So let's see if I get a fractal break here. Okay, so I'll take the entry at this point. And my stop will be, I'm going to use just a bit of the wick here so I don't have a big, huge stop. So I'm using a portion of the wick as instead of using the low. If I'm wrong, they'll come back down and take me out. Otherwise, we continue going. I'm looking for, again, the high here. So this is the daily high. So NAS did indeed come and almost, it's very close to touching. So that again would have been the entry at that point and stop below either that low there, that's reasonable, somewhat reasonable stop. So again, you have to weigh your risk. You can always drop your lot size down, of course, right? That will help mitigate the risk. S&P, Tesla. So Tesla is bucking the trend, is going the opposite way. So the expectation that Tesla would fall is occurring. So it's interesting that they,
I'm short Tesla.
Yeah, it's interesting that Tesla's going down while the NAS is going up. So that's the way it is.
Got to be flexible.
Indeed. I don't know if they're just holding off until this afternoon for the interest rate news or what. They're very spotty. Well, look at it from, yeah, still looking at, they still want to push up here, but not with much vigor. So again, this was an opportunity for an entry there. Best opportunity so far was here, and that was it. Tougher to get in these areas because it's so volatile. But they did sweep, but we had divergence with S&P. So it was a bit tricky. We had divergence with S&P here where we didn't come through, which what we would expect there. So very tricky in here. Well, Bitcoin's not doing much. We're expecting Bitcoin to start taking off out of here, but it's not. We get a nice 1, 2, 3 here. We've swept the high. So we're looking for them to push out and take out this high, but very tepid. I don't know if I'm liking the action on the NAS here. Very odd, very choppy stuff. You can see the structure in here. They did the A, B, C, D, E stuff. So we should sweep the highs. So again, it's a very tempting buy there, but I'm just watching Bitcoin do the same thing here. So take some profits off on Bitcoin and make up for my loss. And see if we can continue. So now I can move my stop up into a more palatable positive here. So no loss on this trade whatsoever. not too far away from target. So we'll see if we can make it there. So at this level, we can see that what they did here was a 1, 2, 3, and now we're pushing out to go up to that area here, and we'll likely go higher than that high. Let's see what's up there. Yeah, so there are highs to the left as well. So I could be even putting my target to those highs up here, if I can stay in the trade without getting stopped out, that is. And I don't think I did, because okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm still in there. Okay, that's maybe they came back. Okay, so got a gap there. So again, missed opportunity here, missed it there. Could have jumped in here, but it's so choppy. It's a bit disconcerting. I was tempted to jump in, but I said no, I'll stay out. But and a reason here that I didn't want to jump in at this point is because it's possible that they could have come through here. But yeah, you can still have your stop here and be okay. But again, it's a little on the high side. So you always have to weigh your risk. You know, is it too high? Is it too? You know? Okay, so Tesla is now turning. What are they doing with Tesla here, Peter?
They're playing with my brain.
Yeah, it's very, you know, we're stuck in a fourth wave. You can see they're really chopping it up and down here. So they're not making it easy at all. Bitcoin doing well here. I can move my stop up a little bit. I can move it up even higher now because I've got another gap here. So this gap, I can move my stop to below the red candle or the blue candle, depending on how I feel about the volatility. So putting it up too tight might put me in jeopardy of being stopped out, but I do get a lot more profits if I do. But so I'll try it there, see if this gap will hold, and we'll still continue pushing off to the upside. They can easily wick through, take me out, of course. But then I lock in a nice profit, so it's all good. It's always good when you're in profit anyways, doesn't matter if they take you out. So that's the goal for me when I'm trading, is to be able to get into a position and get into profit as quickly as possible and lock in profit. But a lot of the times I don't even move my stop. I just leave my stop where it is and just let price go if I feel confident about the move. Right here, you can see on the 1 minute time frame, this was a beautiful entry here. We got 2 1 2 3s back to back, so this is a beautiful entry. at that point to go. This is again what we're looking for, the 1, 2, 3s, and there was another opportunity here to catch this move. And the best one, of course, in the morning was the one in here to catch the move here to go to the upside. So beautiful setups on Bitcoin. So Tesla is now heading back up, Peter, here with some 1, 2, 3 bottoms, 1, 2, 3 bottom, 2, 3. So this whole thing is a 1, 2, 3. We're moving up. Looks like they want to go up and take out the highs here. Perhaps. I say perhaps because there's no guarantee that they're going to take this high. I must believe that it's because of the red news coming up that maybe the market's tepid. Everybody's a little unsure of what's going to happen here with the interest rates. I guess it is interest rates related, right? I believe federal funds rate, yeah, interest rate, yeah. So will they keep it the same? Will they drop it? Will they go higher? What will be the story here at 2 o'clock? So I think that the markets might be factoring that in. And sorry, Peter?
Sorry?
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you. I haven't seen Armin in this week so far. You spoken with him, Peter?
I'm sorry?
Have you spoken with Armin this week?
No, I haven't heard of Boo.
He's hiding out.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Haven't seen Omar in a while.
They've made too much money and they've disappeared.
I guess so. And Stacy hasn't been around. Stacy was pretty busy there. He had a big contract. So.
Omar was not affected by those fires, was he?
Fires? Where?
Yeah, in California, those fires.
Omar is in the West Indies.
Oh.
In Jamaica.
Oh, Omar. Sorry. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. How's your weather there in Zurich today?
Cloudy today. Quite rainy the last days. It's nippy, some 6-7 degrees centigrade.
Not liking that.
No, it was 23 plus of the week before, sunshine.
Oh, really? Wow, that's quite a difference, eh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then if you walk in the woods, the clouds are covering the treetops. Quite a sight.
Interesting.
And for the first time ever in Southern Europe, I saw a badger in the woods crossing my path. We had a lot of them in Norway, but I've never seen one down here.
Did he say hi at least?
A badger.
Did he say hello?
Yeah, sure, I did. And I even followed him into the woods. He couldn't be bothered, so he didn't care. Funny creatures. Some hunters take them as instead of a dog to hunt. badgers. They can be quite tame.
Oh wow, I'd never heard of that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. Looks like Bitcoin is looking to stop me out. See, by putting my stop, you think in a relatively safe spot. There is no safe, of course, in the market. So um, I get the distinct impression they want to take me out. So you would think that they wouldn't go below this low here. But the real technical spot for my stop should be here, but I don't want to put it that far away. And I thought maybe this would be reasonable, but here they're looking to take me out. So if they do take me out, that's fine. I can always go back. And the beauty of the game is you can always go back in, but you see they did take it. So that low wasn't good, but I've made nice profits, so it's all good. I can always go back in again. If you feel that you want to continue in the trade and so forth. At this point, my structure is sound, and I could jump back in again to continue pushing to take out the highs and so forth. So let's see, and I'm going to do that right there. Go back in again. So now, where do I put my stop, right? And this is always the tough part. So since they took me out at that low, then technically this low should be reasonably safe, but there is again no safe. So it's I can put it there, but doesn't guarantee me safety, and then my risk is a little high now, so I could give back all my profits by putting my stop there. So it's a tough one, and I think they're probably aware of that fact. But I've got a fractal, so I'm looking for them to continue pushing up rather than coming back down at this point. So let's see if I'm correct or not. So this is one of the reasons I don't put a stop on sometimes, because I know I don't know, but I can presume that they would like to go down and take people out and then take off without them. So that's why I don't put a stop on sometimes, just so that, yeah, they can come down, put me into drawdown a little bit, but I'm confident that we're going to go back up. But I'll leave the stop there just to kind of see what happens here today. If they take me out, that's fine. But I don't like having losses like that. It's not a good thing. So again, your risk can be reduced by dropping your position size down. So it's not looking good here for this stop at this point. So could get taken out here. Because we do have a gap here, so it's possible for them to come down and touch this gap. So it looked like this fractal was good, but sometimes with the fractal, it's good just to not go more than the low of the fractal for your stop. So if I get in here, then my stop is just the low of the fractal or halfway down the wick. That reduces your risk quite considerably. This case, I would have been stopped out already if I had done that. So you have to kind of gauge that. Let's see if we can continue up here. Take out the highs. Oh, can't do it. Could be in jeopardy if they don't take this high out. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna take me out because they're mean. So do I save myself and take the stop off? Or do I just get taken out for a big loss, right? And that's kind of one of the tough situations you face sometimes. So I don't like being stopped out, so I would take the stop off, but I'll leave it just to show you that, yeah, you can get taken out because you think you're safe, but there is no real safe. Because there's a gap here. They can use the gap as, but I'm going to go back in again anyways, and because I still feel confident that they're going to be continuing to the upside here. So just gave back a lot of my profits on that by jumping back in again at that point, thinking that we were just going to go. And they said, nope, we're going to come back down a little further and get some more, take everybody out down here, come back into this gap. So I look for a new fractal at this point now to continue going. So it looked like we might have been done at that point right there, but no, they swept it. All right, there's my entry again. Stop below the gap. And again, you're in trouble by putting your stop below the gap because it's not safe because they can just wick it and take you out. So the best place for your stop is below the low, and that's not safe either because they can wick it and take you out. So there is no real winning when you put your stop in. So I'll put it halfway point. Again, a big risk at this point. Let's see what NAS is doing now. So NAS is, you see how they're just chopping around here on the NAS even. It's very difficult to play at this point. So Tesla, they came close to the high, but not quite. So it still has an opportunity to go through, Peter, on Tesla.
I hope not.
1, 2. So now they're chopping it, and we could still take out that high.
Unless we don't get a wave 5.
Unless, yes. So we do have a gap here. So they're utilizing that gap to bounce off. So I'm not liking NAS. That's why I haven't been playing it, because it hasn't been doing anything exciting here. I think the best move so far was really from here to, and that didn't give you much. Bitcoin, so I'd like us to take out the highs on Bitcoin here. It looks like they want to come and take the low again. I get a nice fractal, a nice entry, but they say, no, we're not done. We're going to come back and kill you. So if you had your stop too tight, then you're taken out real quick. Yeah, I'm taking these guys out. So it's quite easy for them to just spike it down. I know that lots of guys put their stops down here. So, of course, lots of stops down here.
We've got a death cross on Tesla. 1 minute.
Here they come looking for the stops. So this gap better hold this time now. Yeah, Tesla should push back to the upside here.
I hope not.
No, I think that's what's going to happen here. So our structure is to take out this high. So I think that that's what they will do here. Turn it around and go back to the upside.
I hope you're wrong.
It could be.
I hope you're wrong. At some point, the 1 hour Tesla has to come to fruition.
If this gap holds, and you're going to bounce it back up. And so if they close below it, then it's possible we could be coming down, but the structure is saying we should go back to the upside. So
Yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah, so they've taken me out of Bitcoin again. So you see, that didn't work, putting a stop there. Even if I put my stop below this low, I still get taken out. So what are they doing? You know, coming back into our 1-2 here, it's just not good. So very interesting that they come all the way back down. So it was looking pretty good there that we had a nice little push that could take us back to take out the highs and continue, but now they're coming way into this area. So I'm totally wrong and they get taken out. So that's fine. And if I could be right every time, it'd be fantastic. But yeah, so I'm looking at this. I have to look at it in a different way. So they've retraced this entire move down 50%. So we're right in the sweet spot area for a turnaround. but obviously not. Yeah, so my structure on the 5-minute time frame is that. So still looking for them to go back up one and take that high. On the 15-minute, so the structure on the 15-minute is different, but so if I'm looking at it from the low, let's look at it from this low here, this point. My structure is, that's a complete structure there. So now this retrace is realistic. We should get a retrace. So they've come back quite a bit, and I would still be looking for them to continue to take out this high, because our larger structure is telling us that that's the play. But it's not unrealistic to expect that they could come back down and take this low out at this point. They could do that. So that's something I might not have looked at, that possibility, because it looked pretty strong here. So they could certainly come back down, take out these equal lows, because there are stops here. But they did sweep here already, so I don't see that occurring. There's no need for them to come back and take these lows out. So it's just a pull back on here. It's just to come back into this leg. But they've come down quite a bit now. So I have to, relook at everything and just reanalyze everything. Well, what's going on? Why are they coming down so much? What's their reasoning here, right? This is quite a pullback. So I was totally wrong that we were just going to continue going. This is quite a pullback here. I would not have thought, okay, let's jump in and sell at this point. It's just not something that would have been in my mind at this point, because we hadn't finished our structure yet. So we just didn't get a structure completion. So this is what can happen. Sometimes our structure does not play out and we don't get that move back up. They come back down. All right, so here, this low, here we get, this is our structure at this point. So this structure did play out this way, but here we didn't get the structure completion unless this was it. And that would, that would be considered a structure completion. If I looked at it that way, then I would look at this as a sell, but I didn't look at it that way. I was looking at it this way to continue. So I'm wrong, and we get this sell-off. So if we don't take this low, which I don't expect them to take this low, it's possible, of course, that they can, then I would look for a turnaround 1, 2, 3 here to go back up. But they're taking the low, so there we go. It's a change of tactic here. Oh, so they've taken that low out. That's quite a drop. So I hope Tesla is dropping for you. And
yes, it is.
Okay,
yes, it is.
So that's good. So I was wrong here as well. So it's they've got this little blip here, and that I guess that's it. They didn't want to go up any further, because I said they didn't have to go up and take out this high. So
yeah,
so
you were right.
So quite interesting. So just a very quick blip, just like Bitcoin, and then they're turning it back to the downside. So NAS should be doing that same type of move as well, and big time. So yeah, quite interesting. So that's why it was tepid. They didn't want to come down, want to go up with strength. So our structure again played out to this low. Now they've come back and swept it. So this was a big, huge third wave, fourth wave, and now we're dropping down. So I didn't really see that happening that way, but it looked like we were quite done at this low here, at the 930 lows. So my expectation has been squashed because I didn't think that we would come back down to take these lows again. We would be heading back to the upside to take out the highs based on our structure here.
We have to be flexible.
So they've swept the lows again. That's quite interesting. So, and we're at the almost 11 Eastern. There's no news at this point on the calendar at 11 o'clock or anything like that. So quite interesting. How we're getting this sudden drop like that. Yeah, our daily candle looks like just a red candle on the daily. Open, up, down. So thinking that this was done was my mistake here, because our structure was complete. It looked like at that point, sweeping out the lows, that would just give us, if they're going to pull back, give us something that would come back here and continue. But now that they've taken out the lows, it tells us that our structure is intact, yes, but it's to this way, and now we get this move down to take out the lows. So I would still be looking for them to turn around and come back up again. Where are they going to now? We only have these lows over this side. That's the last line of defense there. So Tesla, we were correct, like you say, from the higher time frame, that we would expect them to come down to take out these lows. But they looked like in the short term they were going to go up one more time here, but they did not. So the structure on Tesla is holding out quite firmly. We're getting that drop, the chop. And now we're getting a large 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 here. That should take us down to take out the lows. So a lot of pressure on Tesla. So that you would think that would put a lot of pressure on the NAS as well, but looking like it wants to turn around again. And George was correct about his the movement down. So we just got caught in that fourth wave. That didn't look like a fourth wave. And that's why we couldn't go any higher. It was just struggling, and so that they drop it down. So can we get a turnaround in this area here to go back up now? They might come and take this low out first. It's the low from the left side here. So they could drop down and take that low out first. That again would give us our structure. Looking for them to take these lows out here. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing a similar pattern. So we've got the nice 1, 2, 3 top there, drop, and we would expect them to take that low one more time. Possibly, I would expect it. So okay, NAS has done it. Did S&P do it? Yes. So we've got everything doing it, taking the low. So will they take the low? So that's the 15-minute low here. Looks like they're going to take that low as well. So that really messes up the structure. If we were looking at the structure as that kind of move back up from this area, now they've really messed it. So they take this low. That's not so good if they take that low. And look at the difference. Wow, there's such a big difference between the S&P and the NAS here. So this low on the S&P is way down here. So they swept down here. So to look at the divergence playing out here, it's just ridiculous. We had divergence here, and then on NAS, you can see it's just huge divergence. And now they might take that low on the NAS and not on the S&P, of course, because the S&P's low is way down here. So we could see a big divergence happening here. So very sneaky on their part. All right. So I'm looking for an entry now on the NAS here. And on Bitcoin, maybe even on Tesla to go back up. Just to retrace this move now, Peter. We could see a retrace to continue going down, right?
Mm.
The question is, will they take this low on the NAS? It's not so much on the S&P because it's too far away. That's quite a miss here, not seeing that that this was a fourth wave. Wow, that's unfortunate. It really looked like this was the bottom at that point. So this is why it was so tepid, and they couldn't go with any vigor because we're not done. And so it's still good. We can catch the move going back up. So. So it's looking like they want to take the low one more time here. Or not. I think they would take that low one more time, but maybe not. Do have a inverted gap here. I'm kind of expecting them to take this low, so that's why I'm hesitating about jumping in at this point. So I'm looking for them to take the low one more time. And there they go, they've taken the low as expected. So now I would look for my fractal to get in. See if we get a fractal play here. Moving out fast. One more time, take the low. Possibly. One more drop here. If they don't do that, if they give me the fractal, I'll take the fractal entry at that point because they might not come back one more time. Well, they might do it, but so I'll take the fractal entry, see if I'm going to be correct. My stop would be just below the lows here. See if we can exit stage left here now and take off up. Otherwise, I get taken out. So I didn't put my stop below the low, keeping it halfway down the wick, and no, I thought they were planning to come down. So I'm getting killed here. So let's see, are they going to take that low or not? So it could just be a little ploy. Maybe I should have had my stop below the low at that point. So I will try again. Okay, so I'll take that chance here now. Stop below the low. See if I'll be alive this time. I think they're going to go now. And I've jumped in on Bitcoin and doing super well on Bitcoin. So I'm making all my losses back on Bitcoin. I'm going to take a partial here. And that's a great move on Bitcoin there. my stop up. As should be moving out as well, slowly but surely. Wow, very tepid. They don't want to leave. Interesting. So Bitcoin's doing okay. NAS is having a hard time leaving. Let's see how Tesla is faring at this point. So Tesla is trying to go back up. As is
I
happening
think it's
right
going to go
now.
down and take out some lows.
Yeah, it still looks a little suspect there, eh? That they could do that. But we do have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. I'm trying to see our structure here. Yeah, this could be, they could be looking to take it out again.
I think so.
NAS done? NAS might not be done either. So that could be why I'm getting stopped out. Yeah, that's why they're not leaving. Okay, and even I got Bitcoin. They came back, and I moved my stop into positive, and they stopped me out. So I've made all my profits back with Bitcoin. All my losses back, I should say, with Bitcoin, but they've come back, so they're not done. So we're not getting a push out as yet. So they sweep, and they're not done. So they're coming back down to sweep again one more time. So that's what's going on. Okay, so it looked like we might have been done because we got a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we could exit out of there. But now they've come right back in there. So it's likely that we're going to take out the lows again. So look for another opportunity down here to come back up again. So that's, again, how you have to be nimble. You have to be able to move with the flow of the market. And it's tough sometimes. And this is one of those times where you think you got it right, and you're not.
Finally got back to you.
There you are, George. Yeah, so they're really mashing it up here. So
yeah. Yeah, I was I looked at that several times this morning to try to figure out the direction, and I guess I guessed it properly, but it was confusing. I mean, it's easy to make a case for either direction.
yeah, it is a tad messy, that's for sure. It's not as clean looking chart.
Right.
We get this on the hourly, we get this 1, 2, we get this drop, we get this move back up. So at this point, the expectation, since we didn't take out the high, is that, yeah, they could come back and try to take this low out. But we also have a 1, 2 here. So it was a possibility that we could do that first.
Yeah.
We still don't have to take out that high, but maybe they were going to gun for this. So I thought that's what they were going to do here, go back up to do that. But instead, they're going down. So when you come down to the lower time frame, like the 15, the structure, again, very choppy. Then we come here, we get this beautiful 1, 2, 3 top here, and then this drop. So at this point, I thought, okay, we had our structure complete, and we would be looking to, go back up and take out these highs.
Yeah,
no. So it's actually
exactly.
a fourth wave here. And so then we get this drop.
Right.
So now they sweep the low, but we can see the difference with the S&P and the NAS. There's a big, huge divergence here. Huge divergence on with the S&P and the NAS, because this low on the S&P is way, way down. So we take out the low on the NAS, but not on the S&P. So I think we're very much at the point where we should be turning around. And when we look at Tesla, which is kind of a barometer as well, Tesla is in a funk and looking to go and take out this low. So a lot of weakness in the market, definitely, overall.
Right. Yeah, I think that, there was some design weakness set in now, but I wanted to caution people that at 2:00, Powell is going to speak. And as many of you know, he and Trump have been in the boxing ring trying to figure out who's going to win, a rate cut or no rate cut. So depending upon what occurs, we could get a fantastic reaction to this, or it could be just a ho-hum.
Well, the expected is no rate cut.
That is correct, because that is Powell's concept. But if the data that has come out since the last time they were chatting about this starts to convince Powell otherwise, and we do get a change, I would expect a dynamic move. If it is as Powell has been talking about in the past, it could be a ho-hum situation. But maybe just clarifying that would give us some move too,
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't done terribly this morning. I did do terribly because I got stopped out a number of times in these with some, high losses. High in the sense that, it's not so great, but reasonable. But I'm about break even today so far in the trading. So I've made most of the losses. I've made all the losses back, actually. I'm a little bit above break even. But it's a tough one today because it's...
when you came on this morning, you showed that you had really only... Well, I think you only showed one loss.
Last night it was a lot more calm.
Pardon?
Last night's market was calm.
Calm.
It was just orderly and nice. This very choppy this morning here.
Calm markets can be very helpful as long as there's some volume associated with it.
Well, Bitcoin and NAS are always moving nicely. So
yeah. Well, there are some quiet periods of both Bitmap and NAS. But
when I say calm, I mean like in an orderly fashion. Whereas this morning here we're getting quite a mishmash of movement. So what was happening here at after 9:30, and I didn't realize and I didn't notice from the higher time frame, was that we're just in a fourth wave chop. So had I realized that, I would have been looking to go short to come back and take out these lows. And I didn't see that until it was too late, because everything was pointing to this move being complete at this point.
No, I know what you mean. I went over my top down a couple of times to try to get it into my new what the heck was going on.
Yeah, this is a very good play on their part. So they swept everyone
Yeah,
out
exactly.
here, made a beautiful 1, 2, 3, dropped it down. So at this point, it looked like, okay, we're done. We should be making a
Exactly.
1, 2 to go back up. And so that's a very good ploy for them to continue dropping it down. And I should have expected that was a possibility, but I did not
Well,
look
I
at that
mean,
as a possibility. So
it wasn't crystal clear in my mind anyway. You're better at it than I am, but
yeah, that's very, very, very good on their part there.
yeah. Well, they're always trying those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, well that's the whole ploy, right? To confuse you. So that works beautifully on their part there for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we look like we might be getting that pushback out now. Maybe that's the bottom there. Looking for them to finish down here now and start pushing back up with some vigor. So that could be it. It could be it, and maybe not. You know, we need to break above these highs here, get a retrace back, something like that. But we could still go down one more time, take out the lows here. So we're not quite out of the woods at this point.
Yeah.
See how they're having a hard time going above. So, and
Well,
Bitcoin's
I
similar.
mean, we're coming closer to lunch hour on the East Coast, so that might have some effect on what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're coming down one more time to take out the lows here with Bitcoin.
It has that kind of a feeling, but I don't expect a huge downward move. But just taking out that low, would grab a lot of stops. That's for sure.
And Tesla is pointing the way as well. Tesla's got that 1, 2, so we can see that we're in the fourth wave here. They've swept the highs, so I would expect them to come down, take everybody out, take the lows. So this will be a play to the downside here for you, Peter, at this point.
I'm short.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like they're doing, setting up. So we're 25 minutes after the hour, so I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go back and get an hour's rest here before Peter comes.
It'll be around 11ish.
All right, let's try to get an hour's nap here.
Okay.
Somebody who called me at 5 o'clock this morning, like I said, and woke me up. So
That's
It wasn't me.
yeah, that was brutal. And it's all these spam calls I get.
So maybe your grandson is working the telephone now.
Somebody wanted to sell you something.
Probably. So,
Okay,
right.
have a good day, everyone.
All right, gentlemen. So watch out for
Thank you.
the 2 o'clock news if you're on.
Pardon?
Watch out for that 2 o'clock news this afternoon here.
Yeah.
The 2 o'clock news is the Fed meeting.
Yeah, so watch out for that.
Yeah.
Remember, yeah. All right, so thanks everybody for dropping in. We appreciate it. And if you like what you're seeing here, you can give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that. And remember, this was all for educational purposes only. We don't expect anyone to take our trades. So do so at your own risk. All right, take care, everybody.
Thank
you later.
See you tomorrow.
All right, Martin, thanks for dropping in.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Bye.